Okay, so let's start. I didn't get. Did you mail me, or you can try calling me? Anyone. You can directly call me. I don't really have any issues if you call me to attend your calls or something like that. Provided if I'm busy, I may not attend your call. But in WhatsApp, I'll be continuously in contact with my students. That is what I do generally. Yes. Okay. So let's start. Good morning. Okay. So where did we stop in the last class? We were talking about encapsulation. That is where we have stopped. So we saw encapsulation, but you know what? There is a specification based on encapsulation, which is called as Java Bean. Yes, we have Java Bean specification. So what is this Java Bean specification? So Java Bean is a specification which we can implement by defining a class, I can say. So first of all, straight away, I'll talk about this Java Bean specification. Straight away, I will talk about Java Bean specification. So let's try to define a class which follows this Java Bean specification. Just a minute, let this ID load. So now let's define a class which represents product records. We'll define a class which is going to represent the product records here. Okay. Yes. So when I talk about a product record, product means any product generally which we see in online shop. Yes. Generally we browse through online shops, right? So we come across products. So every product has got an ID, a name, price, description. Okay. So to represent this product class, let's say we need to define to represent this product objects. Okay, we need to define a class. We need to define a class. So let's define a class which represents that product objects. You see, already we got a class defined with the name product. Now we'll define this class such a way that It follows the Java Bean specification. Okay, so you see, for that, first thing you have to make sure that the class is declared as public. As per the Java Bean specification, you need to define a class which is public. Next, so we need to declare the fields for this properties of the product object. Like we have ID, name, price, description, right? Yes, ID, name, description, and price. Let's see. According to the Java Bean specification, this fields, okay, so we call them as properties actually. You have to declare them as private. The fields has to be declared as private this way. Okay, yeah. So all the fields have to be declared as private. The next thing, as per the Java Bean specification, according to the Java Bean specification, we need to define a default constructor. Okay, we need to add a default public constructor. That constructor should be public. Okay, we need to define a default constructor which is public. You see, yes, constructors are also methods. You can call them as special methods which are declared as public. You can declare them as public. In fact, we can use all the four access modifiers for the constructors also. Next, you know, for every method, sorry, for every field which you got here, for every field which you got here, according to the Java Bean specification, you need to declare or you need to define two public methods. We need to define two public methods. One is a getter method, the other one is a setter method, I can say. One method is a getter method, or we say accessor method. The other one is a setter method or a mutator method. Yes. So let's try to define these methods. They should be public methods. Getter method or accessor method, it is basically used to read a property value. So if you want to read a property value, if you want to read a property value, then we have to use this getter method. To assign the value to a property, to reassign a value to a property, we use that setter method or mutator method, we say. Okay. Yes. Okay, getter method is used to read the property value. Getter method is used to read the property value. Setter or mutator method is used to assign the value to the property. That's it. let's try to define these methods. You know what? Adding getter and setter methods is not at all a big issue, or it's not complicated. So what you can do is here, you know, you can take the help of Eclipse ID. It's very simple and straightforward. It is pretty simple and straightforward. Please make a note of it. Adding getters and setters through the Eclipse ID. Adding getter method and setter method through the Eclipse ID, I can say. Yes. So please make a note of it. So what you need to do is make sure that the cursor is in the class. Right click on it. Right click. You'll find source option. Under the source you have generate getters and setters. Under the source we have generate getters and setters. Okay, select this generate getters and setters method. Now, once you select that, you see, once you selected that option, you should see this pop-up window. Here we have getters. You see, we have, it says select getters and setters to create. You see, the ID has detected these fields. Okay, ID has detected these fields which you have declared in the class, and it is asking whether to create or define the getters and setters for these fields. So for which fields you want to uh, add this getters and setters? I want the getters and setters for all the fields. So select all. You can click on select all. Now what happens for all these fields? For each field, two methods will be added. One will be a one will be a getter method. The other one will be a setter method. All the methods will be public methods. That's all we'll do. Okay. So let's click on OK. Just click on OK. So once we do this, you see, now what happens here? We have methods. These are the methods which you added now through the ID, with the help of ID, I can see. Okay. Okay. Now let's try to examine these methods. You have four getter methods. You see, this getter method is for that property ID, and we have a getter method for that property name. We have a getter method for the property description. We have a getter method for the property price. Now the get method, you'll find that when it is invoked, what it is doing, can you people tell me what it is doing? So it returns the value which is stored in that property or that variable ID. Simply it returns the value which is stored in that variable ID. Okay. So similarly, we have a getter method for name. You know what? There are certain naming conventions which you follow for the getter methods. We'll see that. Before that, let's also inspect the setter method once. See, you'll find that the set method, it takes a value and it assigns that value to this setter method. It assigns the value to the setter method. Okay, it assigns the value to that property. So setter methods are used to assign a value to the property and getter methods to read the value of that property. Fine. Now you know what? We have certain naming conventions which we need to follow while defining getters and setters. What are those naming conventions? Let's see. So first we'll talk about getter methods. Okay. So you will find that always the getter method name should start with get followed by the property name. You'll find that getter method name should start with get followed by property name. So start with get followed by the property name. And it should be in camel case. I can say camel case. Use camel case. What is camel case? Have you noticed it actually? Let me talk about this naming convention which you follow. In Java, so far, if you have keenly observed the way I've defined the methods, I used to define the methods, right? So you will find that always the method names, they start with smaller case letters. Variable names also will be in smaller case letters. The variables and the method names will start with small case letters. And you have, if you have multiple words in a name, for example, get ID. You see, it's a combination of two words. If you have multiple words, in that case, what you'll do, you see, the second that each first word will be in small case, followed by that all other words first letter will be in uppercase. This is camelback notation. The second word first letter or first character is in uppercase. See, get is in completely in small case, the first word, and followed by that all the words which follow that first word, the first character of that word should be in uppercase. Get ID, we call it as camel case notation. You see, get name first character is in caps, N is in caps. Similarly, get description, so D is in caps. So this is camelback notation or camel case notation, we say. So generally we follow this notation for naming the variables, methods, and classes in Java. So always the class name starts with uppercase letter, but when it comes to variable names, they'll start with lowercase letters. And you see, if you have multiple words, each word from second word onwards, every word first character should be in uppercase. Every word first character should be in uppercase. That's it. Hope you people got it. Next, the return type of getter method should be void. Return type of getter method should be void. It should not return, sorry, not void. Return type of the getter method should be same as the property type. Same as the property type, I can say. The return type of the getter method should be same as the property type. Okay, same as the property type. Yes. Next, you see, for example, we have get id method. So this method is for id property. So id is what type? Integer type. Id is what type? Integer type. So the getter method's return type is also integer type, because you see that method has to return that property value, right? So what value it returns? Yes, it returns integer value. So that's the reason why the return type will be integer type always. Similarly, you see get name method, this getter method's return type is string, because that name property is string type. So it returns that string value, so the return type is string type. This is how we'll define the getter method's return type. Always it will be same as the property type here. Yes. So next, the getter method should not take any parameters. The getter method should not take any parameters. Okay, getter method should not take any parameters. Okay, you see the getter methods, they will never take any parameters. All the getter methods, the four getter methods, if you keenly observe, you will find that none of these methods they take any value. There is no parameters for these methods. Yeah. Okay. So now we'll talk about the setter methods. Okay. Again, we got similar rules, but yeah, they're slightly different, of course. So what are the rules? Let's see. So always the setter method name should start with set. You'll find that setter method name should start with set, followed by the property name again, and it should be in camel case. Next, return type of setter method should be void. It should not return any value. So the parameter setter method should take one parameter, which is of type property. So property is what type? So setter method should be that setter method's parameter type should be also property type here. Yes. You which is property type, you can say, or else sometimes it will be misleading, which is property type. So property is what type? Based on the type itself, the property set parameter type also will depend. Okay, so these are the rules which we need to follow while defining the setter methods. You see, it's not much difficult. We saw that just within a fraction of a minute, we are able to define this getters and setters. No matter how many getter methods and setter methods we need to define, you see, don't need to struggle much. We have this wizard in the IDE which helps us in this regard. So first of all, now you understood how to add setters and getters in this class with the help of Eclipse IDE, right? And the naming conventions which you need to follow, and the other rules for setters and getters. So hope you people got it. So anyone got any questions, please let me know. Yes. Okay, good. Okay, so why we put private in variables? Okay, we'll see. So that is what the next thing we'll talk about. Actually, you might be thinking, what is the purpose of defining, or what is the purpose of this Java Bean specifications? What is the purpose of it? Especially, you see, it's mainly declaring the variables as private in the class, right? And though we have defined them, we declared them as private, but still, I don't see any restriction on this properties. I don't see any restriction on the visibility or accessibility of these properties. You got the point, all of you? You see, though we declared this variables as private, but you see, there is no restriction on the visibility or accessibility of these variables. How can I say that there is no restriction on the visibility or accessibility of these properties? Yes. Yes. You see, because you see, using that getter methods and setter methods, using the getter method, you can read the property value, and using the setter method, you will be able to assign the value to that property. So where is the restriction on that properties? There is no restriction, right? Then why to declare this variables as private and add this getters and setters? What is the fun doing this? Is there any usage for this really? What do people think? Yes, actually, definitely there is a reason why this is done. Okay, as of now, okay, we don't see any difference. To be frank, we don't see much difference. But there is a difference. Um, for suppose here, let's say if this variable or this property is not private, let's say it is public. I'll make it public. So directly we can access this property. So let me do this. I'll create this product object. I'll instantiate the product class. So we'll assign that. We can directly access the property, and we can assign this value 101. Or even there is a possibility to assign some negative value also. I can do this minus 200. But you see, product IDs will not be negative values. In this case, can we add any kind of restriction here? Can we add any sort of restriction regarding the assigning that values? No, we can't add any kind of restriction in adding such values, such negative values. Still, say we we can't do anything in this regard. We can't do anything in this regard. But you know what? Here, for suppose, if the property is declared as private, let's declare this property as private. Let me declare it as private. And you know what? Now, if someone tries to directly access this property, now you see, we'll get an error. So we have added some restriction now. So directly the property cannot be accessed. So how to access that property then? How others can assign the value to that property? How they can assign the value to that property? Through the setter method. They will be able to assign the property, they assign the value to the property through the setter method, right? It's okay. Now we have a chance to add some restriction also here. If id, if it is less than or equal to 0, I would like to print an error message, invalid value, invalid property value, or invalid id, let's say invalid id, product id, invalid product id. And we can return this control. You can add return statement. So there is a possibility to add some validation code here, so that we can check that values which are added. You see, in this case, if the property value is a negative value, if it is less than or equal to 0, will not allow that value property, that id to that value, that id to be assigned to this variable. Will not allow that value to be assigned to this variable here. So we can add some validations. So what exactly this return statement is doing here? What do you people think? What exactly this return statement does? So basically it returns the control back to the calling method. So if there are any statements after the return, they won't execute. Okay. So this part of the code which you have here, it will not execute. Once the return statement executes, what happens? It is an instruction to the control to return back the control to the calling method. It's an instruction to return back the control to the calling method, I can say. That's it. Yes. So that is what we are doing here. Now you see, directly you cannot assign the value to that property. Through the setter method itself you can assign the value. That too, it won't take negative values. For suppose if I do this minus 203 or minus 120, if I run this code, then what happens? It says invalid property. So that value is not assigned to that property. This way we can add some restriction here. So you can write some validation code. So we can protect the data, we can hide the data. We're able to protect it. So this is one way of encapsulating the data, or we say data encapsulation here, right? So it's again encapsulation itself. Yes. So is it clear for everyone? Any questions in this regard, please let me know. Any questions in this regard? Okay, good. So here this Java bean specification is helping us to define a class which is fully encapsulated, I can say. We can make this class fully encapsulated here. You see, not to just put the restriction, we are able to assign the properties values. You can assign property values, right? So it's not just okay, because we have more than that. So we are protecting the data. So we are adding a protection, a layer. So always, you see, to operate on that data, we have to use this methods, wherein we can define some rules of how to access the data, how to protect the data. That is what we can do. So which makes a lot of difference, right? So that is a that is about the methods. So not only setters but any methods, now getters also. Later on you'll find that we can add some security constraints. Who can read these values? We want that values, the data, to be read by only selected users. Okay, only privileged users should be able to read certain property values. So this way, to protect the data, this methods, not only getters, not only setters, but even getters or any methods can be used for that purpose. That's it. Yes, that's called data protection itself. So encapsulation is all about protecting the data, right? Data hiding. So that is what we are achieving here through this Java Bean specification. So this is widely used to store the data and or hold the data. This type of Java Beans basically used to store the data and operate on the data. Yes. Okay. Still any questions? Please let me know. Okay, good. So if it is clear, then let's move on. Next, now you understood this Java Bean specification, how to define a class which follows Java Bean specification, right? So once let me quickly review this and let's move on. So according to Java Bean specification, you see the class should be declared as public first of all, as per the Java Bean specification. The Java Bean class should be declared as public, and in the Java Bean class, all the properties or fields should be private. The properties or fields should be private. And for each property, you should have two public methods. One is a getter method, the other one is a setter method. Okay. So getter method is used to read the property value. Setter method is used to assign the value to the property. Setter method is used to assign the value to the property. Yes. And there are certain rules which we need to follow to define getters and setters, which I've explained here. See. So here, you know, this is about your Java Bean specification, which is based on encapsulation. Now let's move on. Next thing what we're going to talk about is regarding the associations here. Associations. You know, when we talk about objects, you can say that they are associated. Objects are associated. So can you people give me some examples of it? Yes. Can you people give me some examples of it? Yes. So associations between the objects. Just give me any examples you see. You come across a lot of objects. So object-oriented programming is based on object-oriented concepts. The object-oriented concepts, you see, everything around you, it is based on object-oriented concepts itself, right? Each and everything which you see around you, everything is based on object-oriented concepts itself. Yes. College department, okay. Yes. Yes, junior savings account. You'll find that you take anything, employers and employee, or any object, definitely it will be associated to some other object. Okay, phone apps, yes. In the phone we'll have applications installed, right? So anything, you take anything, yes. So you'll find that we have associations. First we'll talk about simple associations. Yeah, what? Yeah, simple associations example. If you consider our savings account object, we have account holder associated to the savings account object, I can say, right? How can we describe this association? Actually, we have to describe it this way. Account holder has an account, has a savings account, I can say, right? This is how you'll describe the association. Account owner has a account owner or account holder, you can say, has a savings account, right? So you see, already we have defined a class for savings account object. Already we have defined a class for savings account object. Now, you know what? It is also very essential for us to work with this account holder. So account holder is an object who owns that account. In the bank, of course, bank also maintains account holder details, right? So now we need to define a class for account holder also. Generally, what details of account holder will be storing? Yes, the bank will be interested in what details of account holder. Yes. So account holder, when we talk about account holder will have a name, right? Yes. DOB, let's say, gender, yes. Let's say phone. Just let's consider a few properties. Address. Yeah. So address is little complicated again. We'll see that. We'll come to know about address also. Let's see. So address is also again a complex type. You can think of it as an object because address has got various properties in it, like street, house number, zip code, am I right? City, state, country. Okay, let's consider these fields as of now. Next, you see, we need to define a class to represent this account holder object, right? So let me do that. Let me do that. Here we'll call it as account holder. I'm defining a class with the name account holder. Name, DOB, gender, phone. Actually, for everything I'm using strings now, but later on you will use appropriate types. For date, we'll use date type. For gender, we'll use enum types, enumeration. Okay, yeah. So I'll make it a Java bean. So for that, you see, I'll add getters and setters. I've declared the properties as private, that variables as private. You see, this is the account holder class, which represents account holder objects. So we'll store the account holder details in this account holder class object. That is how we use it. Yes. Now we have savings account class and we have account holder. Now how can we associate? How can we represent that association? So this the savings account class represents savings account objects. Account holder class represents account holder objects. Now how do we represent that association which we got between the savings account and account holder objects? How will you represent that association here in the programming? I mean in the class. How is it represented? So how is that association represented here? So what do you people think? How the association will be represented here? Any idea? No. Create object and assign the other class. Mm, how can we do that? How will you assign it? You're close, but I need more clarity on this. You know what? In Java, the associations basically they are represented. Yes, that's right. Associations are represented using reference variables. Yes. No, not like that. We can't do that. We use reference variables here to represent the association. So in this case, what you need to do is just carefully observe, keenly observe all of you what I'm doing. In the savings account object, sorry, in the savings account class, we'll declare a reference variable this way. Let's say I'll call it as holder. So this reference variable name is holder. It is of what type? Account holder type. That means in this reference variable, we can store account holder class object reference. We can store only account holder class object reference. That means in the savings account, we have a reference variable which holds the reference to the account holder object. So that associated account holder object reference, the associated account holder object reference will store it in this reference variable, I can say. We'll store it in this reference variable. Yes. The associated account holder object reference will be stored in this reference variable. Yes. So let me show you people with an example here. Like we'll write the code. We have to write the code. We have to create objects. Then only you can understand. You'll better understand. Now what I'm going to do is here, I'll create account holder object. Let me add parameterized constructor. I'm sorry. See, to this Java bean we can also add parameterized constructor. Okay. So I'll create that account holder object. Okay. Now we have account holder object. Next, we'll create savings account object. Okay. Now let's say this savings account object which you got here, whose ID is 111, it belongs to that account holder. It belongs to the account holder whose name is Harry. But in the programming, in this code here, especially here, do you see any such association between these two objects as of now? Do you see any association between these two objects? No, we don't see any association between these two objects. So we have to link these objects to. We have to associate them, or we have to link these objects. So how can we do that? So first, what I'm going to do is here, I'll draw a diagram which makes it more clear for you people. So what we did, we have created a account holder object. In that account holder object, we got the properties, variables I can say, like a name, we have age, don't worry about the values. We have, sorry, not age, DOB, and we have, gender, yes, and we got phone. So these are the values. These are the properties or variables which you have. As of now, you see this account holder object reference is stored in a reference variable whose name is account holder. So first, this is what we did. So we created an account holder object this way in line number 10. Okay. Next, we have created another object, savings account object. You see, when we create this object internally, what happens? The memory for that object is allocated, and you will find that the memory for that variables which are part of that object will be allocated. Balance, status, your pin, and so on like that. So let's say I'll just assign that ID of 111. And in the savings account object, we have that variable called as holder also. We have a reference variable with the name holder. So the savings account object reference is stored in savings account reference variable. It is stored in savings account reference variable. Okay. So as of now, I can say that this is what we did. As of now, I can say that this is what we did. Okay. So what's the next thing we need to do here? Can you people tell me? Yes, we need to assign that account holder object reference. We need to assign the account holder object reference to that holder reference variable which is in the savings account object. You see, in the savings account class we have holder reference variable, right? So we'll assign it. So we'll do this savings account dot holder. Okay. So let me just make it public for time being. Dot holder equal to account holder. That's it. So So that means the savings account object has got the reference to the associated account holder. Savings account object has got the reference to the associated account holder, I can say. Yes. So internally, now this reference variable, holder reference variable, so it also refers to that account holder object. It also refers to that account holder object, I can say. That's it. It refers to that account holder object. So this is what we did. This is how we can associate the objects. Yes. Just a minute, please. Just a minute. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. Yes. So hope you people got it. So what we are doing? Yes. So how will you do that? You see, uh, this is something like okay. If you got any questions, please post them publicly. Even Sankit, you also please do the same because others should understand what I'm talking about. When I'm explaining a doubt, others will be in a blank mind. They don't know what I'm talking about. Please post questions publicly, all of you. So this is not possible. How it is possible? How it is not possible? Because class is different type, object is different type. You know, every class definition is different from another class definition. The object structures also vary based on that class definitions. The object structures also vary. This is something like, you know, you have, okay, a person, or you take any mobile, let's say you have Android based mobiles. You take that mobile. In that mobile, it's based on an operating system which is Android. Now you can't take your desktop applications and install it on that Android mobile. It's completely different. It can't hold it. It can't take it. So there are different types. It's completely different. Let's say a person has got he can wear a size, let's say 40. His shed size is 40. If you give a 38 shed size to that person, will he be able to wear it? No. So it won't fit it. So even objects, classes, structures are different. One class is different from another class. One object is different from another object. So you can't do this. Only it is possible if they are associated. That is, parent-child relationship is existing between them. That's it. Okay. Hope you got it. So the class definitions are different. The variables which you have in that class are different. So when you create an object, the memory which is allocated for that variables is different. So it is totally not possible. Yes. Okay. Next, yeah, yes. What is your question, Sanket? Okay, account holder. Yeah, you're declaring a reference variable here. What is it? It's a reference variable. So what is the purpose of a reference variable? It is used to store a object reference. So when this savings account object is created, the memory for this reference variable will be allocated. You see, that is what you're looking at here. As part of that savings account object, you'll have a memory which is allocated for that reference variable. As I told you people previously, reference variable is used to hold object references. That's it. It's not an object. Now, once that object is created, for that holder variable, memory is allocated. Now we are accessing that variable, holder variable, which is in the savings account object, and we are assigning that account holder object reference, which we have created in line number 10. That account holder object, which we have created in line number 10. That object reference, we are assigning it to this holder variable. So which means now in the savings account object, you have holder reference variable, which refers to that account holder object, that is associated account object here. That is how you create the links between the objects. That is how you'll associate the objects. So hope you people got it, all of you. Still, anyone got any questions? Yes, any questions? Hope you people got it, right? Yeah, so the reference variables, they play a key role in associating the objects. The reference variables here, they play a key role in associating the objects. So in the savings account class, you see, we declare a reference variable. So when the object is created, the memory for this reference variable is allocated, and that reference variable will store the associated account holder object reference. Yes, fine. This is one type of association. I can say it's a simple association. I can say the association between the savings account and account holder is very simple association. Okay, next, but here there is one more obligation which we need to consider. As of now, we are assuming that for a savings account, we have only one account holder. But for a savings account, for the savings account, you'll find that you can have more than one account holder. For the savings account, you can have more than one saving account holder, right? In that case, what you will do, if you have more than one account holder, then what? Yes, you got the question, all of you. You know, you might have come across joint accounts. Did you come across joint accounts? Joint account. So for a joint account, you'll have more than one account holder, right? Yes. That means you'll have more than one account holder object associated to the savings account. Let's say actually bank permits gets three account holders for an account. For an account, you can have three account holders. So the savings account object has to be associated to three account holders. So what you will do in that case? Okay. First of all, hope everyone got the question. Can I have yes? Did you people get the question? What I'm talking about? Did everyone get the question? Can I have yes or no? So I'm talking about associating the savings account to multiple account holders, because in case of joint account, that will be the case, right? For an account, you'll have more than one account. Okay, good. I got some responses. Thanks for your response, all of you, everyone. Thank you. So you know what? I want you people to make the sessions interactive. That is really good for everyone here. The more you participate, the depth we can dig into and get more details about the subject. Okay, you were talking about declaring another reference variable. Okay, this way. This is what the solution is. You have three accounts, right? Okay, maybe I'll take it here. We'll do this. But what if I have some other example? Let's consider some other example. Maybe you can do this. Now we can have three reference variables. Each reference variable will hold one account holder object reference. But there can be a case. I'll give you another example, another association example. Let's consider item and bit. If you consider this item and bit, in this case, you know, an item object is associated to an item object is associated to how many bits? Can you people tell me? You see, this is a case where item is placed for bid, let's say, or auction. Item is placed for auction. Sometimes in you might have noticed it in few uh, online shops, items will be placed for auction. Okay, items will be placed for auction. In that case, on that item, how many bits will be placed? What do you people think? How many bits will be placed? Yeah, you can have any number of bits placed on that item, right? So if you have so many objects to associate, not one, two, but you have so many objects to associate, then in that case, what you will do? In that case, what you going to do? What do people think? What are we supposed to do in that case? So this is a typical case where you will have hundreds or thousands of objects associated to one object, right? You have a lot of objects associated. Of not composition. How will you represent that association? That is the question. You see, let's no. You may have thousands of bit objects, right? Will you declare thousands of reference variables, bit reference variables in the item class? You got the question, all of you. You see, for suppose if I have this case. Now, okay, if you have one bit associated, then you can do this. Okay, if you have three bits, then you can declare three variables, bit reference variables. But if I have hundreds, then I can't declare hundreds of reference variables here, right? This is practically not possible. Okay, though we do it, it will be highly impossible to manage the reference variables. So what to do in this case? Yes, go for arrays. That's right. We need to go for arrays concept. Okay. So you know, You can create an array this way, bits array. Now this reference variable which you got here, see, this is a bits array. That reference variable is bits array type. The reference variable is bits array type. Yes. Yeah. Let me show you people with an example. We'll write the code for that. Okay. Let's write the code. So array can take multiple object references. Okay. Multiple object references. So let me define a class with the name bit, and in this bit class we'll add this fields bit ID, let's say bit amount or bit price. That's it. And we'll add getter sensors. Now we have this bit class. Next we'll define another class called as item to represent that item objects. Say item, you see, we'll have ID, we'll have name, we'll have, let's say, price. Just a minute. Okay, again it's a Java bin with setters and getters in the fields here. Next, I'll add a bits array here. Sorry. Bits array. For the bits property also I'll add getters and setters. For the bits property also I'll add getters and setters. So in this bits reference variable, in this bits variable, what we can store, what do people think? Yes, you can take a bits array, bit array object reference. Bit array object reference can be stored. We can store bit array object reference. So let's try to create objects here. First, I'll create an item object, or else let's create bit objects. Directly, I'll create a bit array, bits array, let's say, bit array of size, let's say 3. I'm creating a bit array of size 3. Okay. You see, in this bit array, we can store 3 bit object references. Bits array of 0, say 99901, some bit price, let's say 300. Okay, we have what we did now. We have created a bit array, and in that bit array, we have stored, we have created how many bit objects here? 3 bit objects, and all the 3 bit object references we have stored into that array itself. Directly, we have stored that bit array, sorry, we have stored that bit object references into that bit array. So that bit array now, it holds 3 bit object references. So in the image, so I'll show you pictorially how it looks like. So we got an array of size 3. That array name is bits array, and here we got the fields ID and bit price. We have 3 bit objects, triple 901, triple 902, triple 903. Yes. So all the 3 bit object references are stored into this bit array. So bit array holds the references to that bit objects, I can say. This is what we did now. So far in this code, this is what we did. Okay. Now, next thing what we'll do is here, we'll create an item object. We'll create an item object. Item ID, item name. What is item name? Some name. Let's say iPhone. So initial price is 250 something. Okay. So you see we are creating an item object with this fields. ID, name, and price. 250. So that item reference variable is stored in that item object. Yes. Okay. Now this is what we got. We are yet to associate the bits to this item. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't do one thing. You see, in the item class, we have this bits property. It's of type bits array. So in that means when that object is created, the memory for that bits variable is also allocated. The memory for that bits variable is also allocated. Yes. Okay. So now what to do? How can we associate that bits to this item now? How can we associate that bits to this item? What to do? Can someone write that code here? Just a minute. Yeah, sorry. Can someone write that code here? How to associate the bits array which has got bit objects, which has got bit object references to this item. Uh, you know, in the item class we have bits property. So that means I have to do this. Item dot bits. Or we have set bits method. Set bits. And you need to pass that bits array object reference. We need to pass that bits array object reference. So what happens now? That bits property variable, it holds the reference to that bit array. So item object, now I can say that it holds a reference to that bits array. Yes. So is it clear for you people, all of you? Yes, provided if you can access it. The bits property is private. That's the reason why you cannot directly access it. Bits property is private in that item class. Otherwise, you can do it. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, good. So now we can read that associated bit object details this way using for each loop. I can actually call that get bits method here. Sorry, item dot get bits. So in the bits property we have that bit array reference stored, right? Using a for each loop to read that bit object details, associated bit object details. Bit ID, yes. get bid price. You see, through the item object, I'm getting the bids reference. I'm using item object reference here. Okay. Let me also print this item details, item ID, and item name. Yeah. You see, you got the item and it's associated with details. Yeah. This is about the simple associations, and sometimes you'll find that there will be association between one object with another object. Sometimes an object can be associated with multiple objects, right? Have associations between multiple objects here. That is what is demonstrated here. And did you people complete the tasks? Whatever I gave you people? Yes. Can I have yes or no? If you have any issues or if you face any difficulties in completing this task, so please let me know. Okay. Yes. Did you people complete the tasks? If so, just directly mail me as of now. Okay. Please mail me. You know, today I will create a WhatsApp group for you people. All of you, please mail me your numbers once again. I'm sorry. Just mail me your numbers once again. I'm creating a WhatsApp group today. I don't do it initially right away because there will be few people, will drop out, or there will be some sort of issue, some other issues. So now we have a set of students attend this for regular. Now I'll create a group. Please just drop me a mail. What is it? You have to drop me your phone number. Yes, you have to drop me your phone number. Sure, Amulya, you can do it. Yeah, I'll create a WhatsApp group and we'll be in touch. Yeah, and Nishita, you can just call me. Okay. Let me see what is your issue. Uh, this is my number. Okay, please call me. And actually, there was no class yesterday. I have announced it on Saturday itself in the class. The announcement of the holiday was declared on Saturday itself because of long weekend. There was no session. Yeah. Okay. So I'll stop it here today. We'll meet tomorrow. In the next class, first of all, I'll talk about aggregation and composition. First, we'll start with composition, then aggregation, then object class. We have something called as object class. So these are the important things which we'll see in the next session. Yeah. Tomorrow I may extend the class for 3 hours. Okay. Yes, I'll add the code to Dropbox folder. And one thing I request you people, if you want anything, please drop me a mail. What happens is, if you place any request here, like Sai has asked me to share the code, okay, I'll say okay here. But once I close the meeting, what happens is I'll be stuck up with some other, calls or something else will come up. So I may forget. So I request you people to drop me mails, okay, so that I'll go through your mails, because mails they'll be permanent. Like even at my leisure, I'll go through mails and I'll take your request, whatever it is. Okay. Yes, please do it. So I will share the code with you people. Yes. Sashi, I guess, okay, I have to remove you from the old Dropbox folder because you have been associated to the other Dropbox folder, right? You are attending the batch of another class. So let me do that and then add you to this Dropbox folder. Okay, that's it. Okay then. So I'll stop it here. Tomorrow we'll have 3 hours class. Okay. Tomorrow's session will be for 3 hours. Thank you all.